So I'm here to bring y'all some not so surprising news, but unfortunate still at the same time. Long-time running game show host Alex Trebek of the hit television series, game show Jeopardy, passed away today at the age of 80. Now I'm recording this video on November 8th, 2020. 9 times out of 10, you'll get the video the next day on November 9th. After suffering a long battle from pancreatic cancer. I know about, this all too well because I had an uncle who back in 2013 had got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And I think the doctors that gave him 6 months to live, he didn't even last a month because I think he got diagnosed, I think, like in October of that year, and he was gone by mid-November. So I think he had like an advanced stage of it, so it wasn't detected early on. So it wasn't really much they could do for him, unfortunately. And the most unfortunate part about it is he had just got married to his wife, like not even a year, like a whole year prior to that. So, it is what it is. But he definitely is an icon in the game show world. I looked and saw that he had been hosting Jeopardy since 1984. That's a long time to be a game show host and you be the sole host for that show. Like there was no switch out for it or anything like that. Now I can say that there were times where I did watch Jeopardy at times, watch different episodes of the show. I wasn't a avid watcher of the show, but if there was nothing else on, I would watch it, and then, I would watch it sometimes with my grandmother, my late grandmother, who passed back in 2008, because she loved watching Jeopardy, because she liked Alex Trebek. And she liked watching Wheel of Fortune, because it was always in that block. You always had Wheel of Fortune, and then Jeopardy came on right after it. And one of the things I liked about the show was the information. Like, it was definitely an educational show. Like, it forced you to really think and, want to study and research history and everything like that. And it had an array of questions in there, even stuff that, dealt with black people, like had questions in it about the black community in there as well, or urban culture, as they would like to call it. So I really did like the show in that aspect. And I think another thing I liked about the show too was the fact that Alex Trebek was a very good reader, because some of those words and those names that he was saying up on that stage, I could not pronounce those names or those words, let alone know how to spell it. And I'm looking like, dang, he's a good reader. But, doing what he did, he had to know what he was talking about and, know how to read I guess you can say the screen. But, for me, I would say that the biggest game show host will be or as I say, the Trinity had to be Alex Trebek, Pat Sajak of Wheel of Fortune, and of course Bob Barker of Price is Right. That right there, to me, is the Trinity. Why? Because those three guys lasted the longest. Now, Bob Barker he's been retired for probably well over 10 years now. And now Drew Carey is the new host. But still, Bob Barker is like a legend in his own right too, as well. But that for me is the Trinity of the game show host. At least, like I said, the ones who have transcended decades. But yeah, it's definitely a huge loss, because I know that there were a lot of people, of course, who watched Jeopardy, people who probably even watched Jeopardy. When they heard Alex Trebek, they already knew to associate Jeopardy with him, even if they didn't watch the show. That's how you left a footprint in the industry in which you did. You could tell this guy did what he loved, because, when he first got diagnosed with the pancreatic cancer, he had to take a break. But then, he went into he went through chemotherapy, then he went through remission, and then they cleared for him to come back to continue doing new episodes, and he did. But now, you never, when it comes to cancer, you never really truly get rid of it. It can go into a dormant state, but it can always flare back up, and it can come back even more worse and even more harsher than it was the first time around. Because, everybody has cancer cells, and once them cancer cells activate, they don't stop. They just keep going. And then he had pancreatic cancer at that. That's one of the worst forms of cancer that a man can get. And is actually one of the ones that, like I said before, is not detected early on. and it spreads very, very fast. Like, you have some cancers that will spread slowly, and you have some that will spread swiftly. This is the one that spreads swiftly. I think pancreatic cancer is, like I said, is probably one of the worst forms of cancer a man can get. And there's so many forms of cancer that anybody can get, but this one right here, like, I would put it like this. Pancreatic cancer is to men what breast cancer is to women. I'll put it like that. But I think pancreatic cancer is more deadly. But it's amazing that he was able to survive this long, because some don't make it past like a few months, but he managed to stay on for a long time, go through remission. They got it under control, and I guess it flared back up, and then that was it. But, you know, it's unfortunate. But now the real question is, who's going to be his replacement? Because that's going to be the next big question. Who's going to take Alex Trebek's place when it comes to Jeopardy, especially since he became such a fixture in that show? He is the face of Jeopardy. Who's going to be his replacement? And I'm sure they're probably going to be scrambling, having to find that out right now. Of course, they're probably not going to film any new episodes. They're probably going to finish out the rest of the episodes that he did shoot, because a lot of these are pre-recorded tapings. So they're probably going to finish those out, and then they'll have to make the hard decision, the business decision of finding his replacement, whoever that may be. And hopefully it's someone that can fill his shoes. I mean, that's some hard shoes to fill, considering how long he's been doing this. But hopefully it's somebody who is genuine and has respect of the series enough to carry on the title of the host of Jeopardy. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments.